Breaking news. More files about Jeffrey Epstein and his various connections have come to light. 3.5 million files in exact number. Well, I mean, that's not exact number. Approximately 3.5 million files have been released just yesterday that have put the internet up into a giant firestorm. A lot of stuff has been confirmed. A lot of prominent wealthy people have been finally named and shown to be involved pretty implicitly, or I guess explicitly, with Jeffrey Epstein. So I thought there's no better way to cover this really than to do a Red Threads Loose Threads episode on everything that's come out yesterday, or most of the important things that have come out or are currently being talked about. And if you didn't know, Loose Threads is basically a bonus breaking news show that Jordan and I do about various different things that are breaking news. So if you want extra Red Thread content, then official.med 7-day free trial. So go check that out. We're putting this one out to the public, obviously, because, well, it's in the public interest, really, to talk about.
We have to do it.
There's not enough people talking about this. There's not enough people talking about this. It's like the indie scene at the moment. Only a few brave people are talking about it, and we want to be part of that crew.
Everyone's talking about Diddy, and you know why? Just because he's black.
Yeah. Now it's time to talk about the white Diddy, Jeffrey Epstein. Way less musically inclined.
Said, no one else is. Well, we don't know that. You know, he was a man of many talents. Release the documents of whether or not he knew how to play saxophone.
So, like I said,
I
on
hope
January,
that's the expose.
The expose is about his musical abilities.
He was actually in Bomb Funk MC for a while. Okay, the more you know.
Glad we got to the bottom of that one. No, so on January 30th, 2026, that was yesterday, the FBI released approximately 3.5 million files related to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation, pursuant, of course, to the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which was put into law on November 19th, 2025. You've probably heard about it, and you've probably also heard about how the Justice Department failed to release the files on time. They had been basically breaking the law up until this point. In fact, there's still many files that they haven't released, so they are still breaking the law. But they did release the new tranche of files, 3.5 million of them. And these documents contradict the FBI's previous official position that there was no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals. They say that here in this memo, specifically it reads, this systematic review revealed no incriminating client list. There was also no credible evidence found that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals as part of his actions. And of course, when that was first revealed in the memo from the Justice Department, back when it was released, everyone collectively rolled their eyes at that, considering there had already been incredible amounts of evidence that had come to light that showed the connection with Jeffrey Epstein and other prominent wealthy people, and in fact potentially other governments, international governments, spy agencies involved in blackmail operations. So for the FBI to declare that, hey, Epstein, you know, that person you've seen connected to literally every wealthy and powerful person known to mankind, apparently, every single person, he wasn't involved in any blackmail, operations. We couldn't find any evidence of blackmail. Of course, everyone rolled their eyes, Jordan.
Yeah, that was, look, there was a lot of bundles, but that was the one that I thought, I think that was the beginning when everybody started to suspect that maybe Trump wasn't serious on the election campaign about releasing the files of Jeffrey Epstein. Really,
he broke his promise.
Really serious about increasing the powers of ICE. Promise kept.
Every other policy he kind of took to an insane degree, whereas the Epstein stuff, he was like, damn,
he did not take to an insane degree.
I wish I didn't make that promise.
He was quite moderate for Trump's standards.
Disregarding Trump's potential inclusion in the Epstein files, or, you know, the Epstein blackmail or the Epstein crimes, it's pretty obvious at this point that the amount of wealthy people implicated to some degree in the Epstein files is to a staggering degree, where if information like this came to light, which it has, it would have serious market ramifications. So my point being, even if Trump isn't involved, which I still earnestly believe that he is involved, even if he wasn't, as president of America, there would be insane pressure from these wealthy, powerful people through lobby groups and other forms of obstructionism to keep this under wraps, basically. So, like, the amount of people that are involved, like his Secretary of Commerce was literally Epstein's neighbor and has since been heavily implicated. Like, there are so many people within the administration itself, outside of Trump, that are implicated in these files, where it's like the whole system is rotten.
Look, the thing is, it has to be a few key people in each administration for it to have this much of a cover. I really do think that it's like that key senior position. It's like, what it's really interesting about is like that level of elite is so small and tiny. It's really hard to imagine how much power you can get, that it'll get to the point where it's kind of like, look, I would rather tank my presidency than release these files. Mm-hmm. I honestly think that Trump could have gotten away with everything else that he's done in this term if he did that. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I'm sending us all to the grave over this.
Speaking about what you just said, how it would have to have existed across multiple administrations, again, the broad-reaching implications of how many people are implicated here or involved here are so staggeringly large that it does cross all political allegiances. Again, I've said this in previous Epstein episodes, political allegiance or political, what kind of party you belong to really does not matter at the end of the day. Again, the Secretary of Commerce, current Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, is implicated to some degree in the files, and he was a Democrat until 2016. Now he's a Republican, of course. Now that his best friend Donald Trump is in office, he's a Republican. But before that, he was a Democrat, and there are many such cases. There are many different people who have swapped allegiances or so. The Democrat, Republican, they're highly likely that multiple people from across every single administration are implicated in here. So it doesn't matter. And this isn't an answer for why.
It's always a bit of a warning sign, isn't it, though, don't you reckon? Like, if somebody crosses the aisle and switches party,
it doesn't.
Very, very rare instances do I think, wow, now there's a principled man. You know,
yeah.
Like, I usually think that they're just scummy and want extra titles.
Opportunistic, yeah.
Like, it really fits that guy would be friends with Epstein. But go on.
Yeah, for sure. And also just the fact, like, that kind of answers people's claims as to, like, why didn't this come out during the Biden era? Why didn't this come out, during the back end of the Obama era, et cetera, et cetera? It's because people in the administrations, all of them, Democratic or Republican, are involved to some degree. I'm sorry, it's just not. This isn't a political thing, and I hate when people try to make this a political thing, because this is a wide-reaching. It's a power struggle. It's the wealthy elite versus us, basically. That's what it is. It's not political. This is classism. This is classism 101. It's just that the classism right here refers to a group of wealthy pedophiles, which is not a very fun form of classism. But yeah, so pretty crazy amount
Jackson's
of files.
A fan of the good old classism with top hats and
we got to bring class
guys that would use
classism.
their back as a step when you get off the carriage. You like that in those days? And so did I as well. The hilarious classism.
The classy kind of classism. The sad thing is, though, that the classy, like that version of classism, probably still had the same thing.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe it's like a new taboo.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not. Just throwing up ideas.
Yeah, but anyway, the fact that all of these emails came out kind of calls to light the fact that, of course, the FBI themselves said that there was no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed anyone, but also the fact that Epstein was a sex offender post 2008. Remember, during that court case, the court case where the U.S. attorney who would become Trump's labor secretary, Alexander Acosta, gave him the sweetheart deal that let him get off scot-free, but he still was a sex offender beyond that point. And of course, a lot of the people that have come out since to talk about how their relationships with Jeffrey Epstein basically ceased after 2008 because they found out what a horrible, demonstrably evil man he was. So people claim that they cut connections after that point. These emails refute that beyond a shadow of a doubt. Most of these people that we're going to talk about in this episode of Loose Threads were well connected to Jeffrey Epstein and routinely, casually hanging out with him, at least through email correspondence and island visits, well into the mid 2010s before his suicide and before the news re-entered the news cycle that he was an evil man. So even after that 2008 situation where he was found to be a sex offender, these people were still maintaining their relationships with him, much to the contrary of what they claim. So we start with Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates, one of the most wealthy men alive. Their relationship began after 2008, after Epstein's conviction. Melinda Gates, who is Bill Clinton's wife, not Bill Clinton, Bill Gates' wife, cited that the Epstein relationship was a contributing factor in their 2021 divorce, claiming that she met Epstein once and was reportedly described him as being evil personified. Gates himself has also publicly maintained that the relationship was solely about philanthropy and had ended after he found out that Epstein was an evil person. However, emails have come to light showing that that is not the case. And in fact, contrary to what the FBI claims when they say that no credible evidence about blackmail has been found, we find direct evidence that Bill Gates was being blackmailed by Jeffrey Epstein, which is an absolutely insane thing to say.
Oh, that is so weird. Okay, honestly, stranger than fiction. Stranger than fiction? Best way to sum this up? Stranger than fucking fiction. Imagine.
This is a bombshell.
Okay, all right, I've got it. I know that this is not the right thing to say on the internet, but goddamn, what a baller Jeffrey Epstein was. Can you imagine fucking blackmailing Bill Gates?
That's how powerful he was, though. Like, literally the most powerful American, corporate entity.
A man that makes governments tremble.
Yes. Epstein's on top of that.
I am worth more than Canada. That guy. And,
exactly.
and Jeffrey Epstein is like, you work for me.
And then meanwhile, the FBI is going, I can't see any evidence of blackmail with Jeffrey Epstein and powerful people. What?
Look, I'm sorry. If Bill Gates is getting blackmailed and I am an FBI agent on my crappy $80,000 a year, I'm not going to be seeing any blackmail either.
Yeah, but that's kind of the point, though. So, yeah, in 2013, Gates appeared to be distancing himself from Epstein, and Epstein drafted emails to himself outlining what appears to be blackmail leverage. It's a long paragraph, a draft sent from Jeffrey Epstein's email to his own Jeffrey Epstein with the subject called Bill, referring to, of course, Bill Gates. And he says, in the email, Jeffrey Epstein says, to add insult to the injury, you then implore me to please delete the emails regarding your STD, your request that I provide you antibiotics that you can surreptitiously give to Melinda, and the description of your penis. You also made it clear to me that I am not to refer to, and this is censored, as that is another topic that must remain between the two of us. So basically what Jeffrey Epstein is doing here through this email that you can read is he's drafting a letter to send to Bill Gates that basically outlines what he thinks Bill Gates should say to him and what Bill Gates should give to him. Like, he's basically saying, if you want me to stay quiet, or if you want me, if you want to still be in my good graces, you need to give me X amount of money, $30 million in today's dollars right here, and 30 to 40% of a $100 million partnership, and some such stuff. So there is clear evidence
High price.
Clear evidence here of blackmail. I mean, this is just the definition of blackmail. Really,
it's quite grand blackmail, isn't it? Mm-hmm. I really can't ever imagine getting to the ridiculous, cartoonish level of existence where I'm saying, "Give me $30 million or else." It's
Exactly.
bad guy in a villain. It's Die Hard shit, you know?
It's still coded in that kind of weaselly way of like the email is presented as Epstein not coming out directly saying it, but he's basically painting an email where he's like, if I was in your position, I would give me $40 million because otherwise.
Yeah, which I think is even better. It's just it's more threatening. It's always
it
that
is.
like,
It's
that's not
slimy.
a threat. It's a promise. Like it's
Yeah.
It's even more villainy.
Yeah.
It's like, honestly, it's like this man. I don't know what happened, but it's almost as if he was put in a vat as a child and then just watched the highlight cuts of every Bond villain that ever existed or something. It's like, it's honestly like a parody of what a bad guy is.
Mm-hmm.
It's astonishing.
So he wrote that, and this is to sum it up. Epstein wrote in this email that he would, about what he would have done if he was in Gates' position, including buying.
If I were you.
Yeah, exactly. Including buying Epstein a house he had his heart set on, providing 5 years of severance, and buying out an investment contract worth 30 to 40% of a $100 million partnership, approximately totaling about $30 to $40 million. He also explicitly mentions that Gates requested Epstein delete emails regarding an STD, a request for antibiotics Gates could, of course, surreptitiously give to Melinda. I think that means like covertly give to Melinda Gates so she doesn't find out about the STD. Drugs related to consequences of sex with Russian girls and facilitation of illicit trysts with married women. So there's a lot of information here that that Epstein has on Gates that he is basically not subtly telling Gates that he has, as a tool, as an ace up the sleeve per se, to expose Gates if he doesn't, follow through with the blackmail demands. Of course, these emails, the proof that we have here of these emails that were included in this tranche, they're sent to Jeffrey Epstein from Jeffrey Epstein. So it's clearly a draft. We don't know for sure if this was eventually sent to Bill or what, but the fact that it exists at all, that Epstein is drafting up emails with demands and talking about the kind of evidence that he has on Bill Gates, like that's enough evidence in my eyes to confirm that Epstein ran a blackmail organization, basically.
It definitely does that. It doesn't necessarily prove that Bill Gates had contact with him after when he said he did.
Oh no, we've got proof of that. There's pictures of them together at various different events beyond that point, like as late as 2014. So even after Epstein was drafting up these demands, they were pictured together. But yeah, look at this. Look at this email.
Could you imagine just being, because like there's no way that Bill Gates is getting fucked ever unless he's a billionaire. It's not going to happen. And then all of a sudden, hey, you want all these Russian supermodels, Bill? Okay, like.
You girls like Windows XP?
Do you girls know what Windows XP is?
I don't think, if he's still using a Windows phone, I don't think there's actually any way for him to contact a woman in general. It would be such a...
I honestly think that there's just no way for him to contact a woman, period. I don't think he had ever met a woman until Jeffrey Epstein introduced him to one.
So that's why, yeah, sure.
I reckon don't you reckon in the tech era, all of these nerds that are all of a sudden billionaires, now that I think about it, they would be so susceptible to blackmail. You could not be. They were destined to be incels, all of them. And yet here they are.
I mean, we see that timelessly in the video games industry. Like during the late 2010s, a lot of, like when it went through its own Me Too period, so many studio heads got ousted for like sexual harassment and stuff. As soon as they get like a modicum of power, of course it goes to these fucking losers' heads. Of course it does. But
you
beyond, like,
you couldn't not.
That's such a like small microcosm of that kind of abuse. Now imagine you make that guy like the most powerful person on the planet, basically running entire corporations worth, almost trillions of dollars.
Isn't it weird? Yeah, it really does put Gamergate into perspective, doesn't it?
Speaking of Gamergate, it says here in this email, again, I'm continuing to read from it. Epstein talks about from helping Bill to get his drugs. This is a quote. From helping Bill to get drugs in order to deal with consequences of sex with Russian girls to facilitating his illicit trysts with married women to being asked to provide Adderall for bridge tournaments, as I am a medical doctor but have no prescription writing ability. So Bill Gates was being given Adderall by Epstein for bridge tournaments. I don't know what bridge is. What is bridge? That's like a card game or something.
Bridge? Yeah, it's a card game. It's what old ladies play.
Yeah. So that is
very sophisticated. It is the West's mahjong.
Yeah. So that's fucking crazy. This is already mind blowing. The fact that
Isn't it?
one of the world's richest people has a drug peddler in the form of Jeffrey Epstein, so he can play bridge better.
Yeah, and also just the fact that like Jeffrey Epstein has the time to be a drug dealer on top of all of his global pedophilic empire endeavors, and on top of that, running a lot of the world's global finances.
Yeah, exactly.
Where did he get it? He was on Adderall. That's how.
Very, very. Yeah, I mean, he ran an Adderall empire. Of course, he's sampling his own goods for sure. I mean, you would need to. He's
You'd
so
have to.
busy.
Such
he's
a busy man.
Connected to every single person, every single powerful person, apparently, and he's got all these little agendas that he's running. He's like
it's nuts.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
So we know for sure that this kind of information, there's other evidence, corroborating evidence that does back this claim up, or the proof, the general claim that Epstein and Bill Gates were connected in this way, and that Epstein had information on Gates. The Wall Street Journal reported in 2023 that Gates was threatened Gates was threatened by Jeffrey Epstein over Microsoft co-founder's affair with a Russian bridge player. And this article was released in 2023, confirming and corroborating that information. And of course, this is pretty directly referenced in that email that we're talking about from 2013. So, it's pretty clear cut that Epstein knew about this information and was using it for blackmail purposes. So we know that. So already, just through this one example, right, we have pretty much confirmed that Epstein was in the act of blackmailing at least Bill Gates. But as we know, he's connected to so many people and so many people running defense for him.
At least Bill Gates, can you?
Yeah.
Exactly. But sorry, go on. It's just.
You think he stops at Bill Gates though? Like that's the only person that Epstein ever blackmailed?
Has ever blackmailed?
Of course not. You don't just go to Bill Gates. That's the first. If you work your way up over 4 decades of doing this, basically, that's why he was untouchable. It's because he was blackmailing people like Bill Gates, which is...
And it does work in part of Jeffrey Epstein's pattern, which, kids, if you're watching at home, I highly recommend that you follow in Jeffrey Epstein's footsteps. This is the thing that he really should be remarked down as like, this is the success formula in life. It was always just sort of micro trading his way up. His entire pattern of getting wealthy to getting connections is always going up the chain. So as you said, he would have been micro-trading bribes and blackmails all the way up as well. It would be so in line with his character to do that.
Yeah. And so if you're wondering what Bill Gates' response was, a Gates spokesperson stated that, quote, "These claims are absolutely absurd and completely false. The only thing these documents demonstrate is Epstein's frustration that he did not have an ongoing relationship with Gates and the length he would go to entrap and defame Bill Gates." So basically, they're saying, no, this is false. But we have proof. We have proof that even their loose claim that Gates, said, no, I don't want to be around Epstein anymore after this point. And of course, Epstein was frustrated by that. So that's why he was acting out in this email and writing up a blackmail letter full of lies, apparently, to them. We know that Epstein's blackmail here was at least partially acted upon, let's say, or also that he was able to use this blackmail to still be close to Bill Gates after this point, because we have another email from a year later, 2014, talking about, "Hi all, this is a $2 million gift from Bill Gates directed by Jeffrey Epstein."
Really?
So we know that they were at least still communicating to the degree where Bill Gates directed Jeffrey Epstein with a $2 million gift. I think it was a donation to MIT It looks like Media Lab. So absolutely mental. So they were still connected beyond that point, and that of course refutes the claims by Gates' spokesperson that claims that their relationship broke down, and that's why that blackmail letter existed. Because no, clearly they're still collaborating on things, and the insinuation there, logically, is that the blackmail attempt was successful, and Epstein was able to keep Bill Gates in line. Pretty fucking crazy.
Oh, it's just, I can't believe it. Okay,
I mean,
just for everybody, just for my own full disclosure, well, first off, as usual, when I'm on tour, I'm not wearing any pants. And I think that that's particularly appropriate when we're talking about Epstein for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also in bed, Jackson. Rare.
Okay.
That's the third point.
A lot of conflicting feelings right here. Is there anything about Epstein here?
Or you conflicted, Jackson.
Are you sexually
tell
harassing
us all
me?
your inflicted feelings, and then we'll put them behind the paywall. You really got to sign up to our paywall, honestly. It pretty much is Jackson and Jordan presents OnlyFans. But I don't know anything about the releases because while I'm on tour, it's kind of hectic and you're constantly traveling. And then the little time that you have to fill in other things for Friendly Geordies. So I haven't looked into this at all. And this is the first time that I've ever heard any of this.
Historically, you don't use social media that much. So you haven't seen this blow up in real time. And we are recording this I've been trying to compile all of this information over the last 3 hours before we hit record right now. It has been developing,
It's
obviously.
fresh.
It's very fresh.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
God, it is fresh.
In
both senses of the word, honestly.
Yeah. So Bill Gates, I mean, that's pretty clear cut. And again, this just proves beyond a shadow of a doubt to me that the FBI's claim that there's no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals was a bold-faced lie. They had these files for years at this point, years before that statement was made. They know that there was clear-cut evidence of blackmailing one of the most powerful people alive in our generation. So the FBI has lied without a shadow of a doubt there for me. I think the insinuation there is, of course, when they made that statement, they believed that they would be able to keep the files locked away permanently. My question though to you, Jordan, is why release it?
I don't know.
It's hard, isn't it? Why release it? They're clearly the arbiters
What do you
of what
think?
gets
Tell
released.
me what you think.
No, I mean, they're clearly the arbiters of what gets released at this point, right? Like
No. I honestly do think that, look, there was a lot of pressure from both sides of the aisle. You would have to release something.
Of course. You still have to release something.
And the political pressure
what gets
exists.
released still is chosen by them ultimately, which is the administration, which we know to some degree is implicated in this. So they're still the ones that decide what gets let out. So why has this information about Bill Gates come out? Now there is communication or discussion online at the moment. I haven't seen this corroborated by any evidence yet, but there is talk about potentially the situation between Iran, America, and Israel at the moment playing a part in this. That Israel wants to strike Iran, but there's trepidation on the part of the US administration. And so Israel, because as we know, it's heavily suggested that Epstein, by us no less, that Epstein is potentially a Mossad agent.
Foremost experts.
Connected to Israel. That Israel has released this information basically, or forced the release of this information to embarrass the United States administration into action on Iran, or towing the line more with what Israel wants in that sense, which is an interesting theory.
Look, and also it's the murky oh God, it is. It's simultaneously a long bow and not. Because I don't know, you guys actually might have seen it because it did go quite viral, but our version of the ABC tried to do the whole, they've got nothing to do with Mossad argument. Egg on their face. Clear clear involvement with Mossad. And they do fight dirty. If there is any reason that's sort of conspiratorial and secret agenty, it would have to be that.
I mean,
It's
why
not
else?
a bad
To be fair,
conspiracy theory, I'll say that.
if the conspiracy theory is true and this was from the get-go a Mossad blackmailing operation to gain leverage over prominent US officials and wealthy, the elite through Jeffrey Epstein, which of course we now know was a blackmailer without a shadow of a doubt, and he had connections with Mossad and prominent Israeli politicians. That would be the entire point of having this information in the first place, would it not? This would be the entire point of the operation that they're said to have conducted. Information gathering to use as leverage over prominent, wealthy, powerful people in the United States. That's exactly what this would to better their their standing internationally. So of course, this would be the outcome.
You like that theory? What do you think?
I haven't seen enough evidence specifically for them having released this stuff yet. But at the same time, I don't know. I can't think of a better reason. It's the only thing that fits so nicely into the fact that multiple Trump associates here, which we're going to continue to talk about, have been thrown under the bus by these releases.
Trump does do that. Trump just throws people under the bus whenever it fucking suits him. So
most of these people right here, apart from arguably Gates, are very loyal to Trump. Like we're going to talk about.
Yeah,
Howard
but that
Lutnick.
doesn't really matter.
We're going to talk about Elon Musk.
Yeah, but Trump is ruthless with that. That's a pattern of his that has happened all throughout his life as well. Development days, casino days. As soon as someone's no longer useful to Trump, he'll ditch him immediately.
Yes, we saw that in his first administration. Of course, the revolving doors of officials that he would just constantly kick out. But that always served the purpose. Ultimately, I don't see what purpose this solves to Trump. If anything, it's put egg on Trump's face.
I suppose it's sort of it could just be an anything but me. I do like the Mossad thing, honestly. I really do.
I think the only person that benefits from the situation, other than the public, is Mossad. If they are the original architects of the operation, the blackmail operation, then they are the only ones that benefit from this situation. If that was their intended goal of applying pressure to a US administration to further their geopolitical goals. So, I'm not going to confirm. It is a theory at the end of the day, right? We don't have hard evidence to suggest or support that theory yet, but we don't have any answer for why this information, out of all of the information, was released. Like, again, this stuff could have been released in the last release or the release before. Clearly, they've been holding on to this and not wanting to release this kind of information, right?
Man, can you imagine exactly? Because this is absolutely not the end of the iceberg.
No.
This is the incredible part about this, because honestly,
they just keep putting out information hoping that people will be satisfied with it and then stop asking questions. No,
but the information's too tantalizing.
Well, now
and they're making it a tease.
Now they know. Now we know. We've just been affirmed, right, that yes, they're holding stuff. And of course, the implication there is they're still holding stuff. They haven't released everything. Clearly, they're just trying to string us along until we forget about it or stop asking questions. And of course, there's many files that have probably been shredded or otherwise are now missing or fully redacted or just never going to be released until, I don't know. I think anything truly damaging to the administration, the FBI or Mossad is going to be, it's not going to be released. They're going to continue to try to throw other people under the bus to kind of look like they're doing something. That's my opinion.
Yeah, me too. I think that's going to continue on. But what a hole they dug for themselves. I stand by if they never did that stupid stunt where they came out and said, oh, we've got all the files and it was everything that we've already seen. If they never did that, they would have been fine. No, we're still under investigation. Oh, it's a very complicated investigation. You could keep that running
forever,
probably for the next 100 years.
It worked for JFK.
Yeah,
it didn't work for JFK. He got his head blown off. It worked for the assassins of JFK. What I'm saying though is, yeah, like for sure, right? Like if they just made that claim, of course they had to run on it. They had to run on the position. Of course, you couldn't have gone into that, the debates, the political presidential debates at the time and been like, oh, no, maybe we'll release it, or look apprehensive about releasing it. Of course, both parties had to look like they were fully intent on releasing the Epstein files. But then, of course, the political thing, if you're implicated, is to then, once you're in power, be like, yes, we've got top guys working on going through it, and just keep saying that basically nonstop. It's a very complicated situation, legal minefield, so on and so on.
It really is just like Trump should have perpetually been a campaigner, shouldn't he? He's got such a flair for campaigning. Governing, even little things like that, you really need to understand how to be boring. And that man does not understand that at all. He has to make everything exciting all the time. It has to be a flair. Everything's always a tweet and a photo op. And so, something that needs to be kept under wraps like this, it's not a good combo, is it?
No. Fucking crazy.
Isn't it incredible? So he actually will be responsible for its disclosure, much to his chagrin.
Well, again, I don't want to give too much credit to him because I don't think that this was
he did it all
intentional. He pressed the send button.
Yeah, it's just because you're a soy cucktard, Jackson.
That's me.
Soy cucktard extraordinaire. Put it on your business card.
Yeah. We come to Elon Musk now, and he's documented lies about the island visits. So we all know that Musk has been outward on X, or Twitter, as it's formerly known, its dead name. He publicly stated that Epstein, quote, Epstein tried to get me to go to his island. I refused. He also wrote, anyone pushing this false narrative deserves complete contempt. And when confronted with reports of a planned trip, Musk called them false. So he's been dying on that hill constantly for the last ever since the Epstein files came to light, or the Epstein crimes came to light. He's constantly been saying, no, I was not involved. I chose not to be involved with. We weren't on friendly terms, so on and so on. I never went to the island. Well,
which you could kind of believe with him because, unlike Bill Gates, there's a bit of a, yeah, sure you were, buddy, because there's no way that Bill Gates is not getting laid without an international pimp ring. It's not happening. But I'm pretty sure that Musk can get his own autistic pussy if he needs to.
Here we go. From Jeffrey Epstein, Saturday, November 24th, 2012, to Elon Musk. He says, how many people will you be for the heli to the island? Elon Musk replies, probably just Tallulah and me. What day/night will be the wildest party on your island? And yes, the island is, of course, referring to the child sex island. So I dare not imagine what the wildest party on said island would be. But yes, Elon Musk, plain as day right here, confirming that he is visiting the island to partake in the parties. We have more here. Yet another email showing how friendly these two were. Epstein writes, you are welcome to stay or just come for the day. Plenty of room. I will send the heli to get you. Elon replies, do you have any parties planned? I've been working to the edge of sanity this year, and so once my kids head home for Christmas, I really want to hit the party scene in St. Bart's or elsewhere and let loose. The invitation is much appreciated, but a peaceful island experience is the opposite of what I'm looking for. Damn, Musk just Uno reversed your claims right there. He's coming across as pretty fucking cool right now, don't you think?
Yeah, I know.
He's a party animal.
Where the bitches at?
Yeah. And then Jeffrey Epstein sinisterly replies saying, understood, I will see you on St. Barth. The ratio on my island might make Tallulah, who is Elon Musk's wife at the time, uncomfortable. The insinuation being a lot of women, I guess.
Dude, or would it be just incredible that they're like college bros in their 50s, hey?
Yeah.
The ratio? I can't remember saying that out of university.
We have even more.
But I suppose every time we ever mentioned the ratio was always very bad for us. Billionaires get all the breaks. Fuck them.
December 14th, 2013, Elon Musk continues, we'll be in St. Bart's area over the holidays. Is there a good time to visit? Epstein replies, I will send heli for you. And then Musk replies, thanks. So yes, clearly he never went to that island, even though there's multiple emails saying that a helicopter is being sent specifically for Elon Musk to bring him to said island. And here's another email from Jeffrey Epstein to Leslie Groff, who is one of his assistants, I believe, and the email reads, just a reminder, Elon Musk was asking about coming to your island on January 2nd. So he's constantly at this fucking island.
Secretary saying that. Yeah, hey there. I was just wondering, we're just booking in a sex romp for my boss here. We still good for that? What a weird job.
So, of course, Elon Musk shown to be a massive liar about this situation, as most of the people who claim that, no, I don't know. Who's this Jeffrey Epstein guy? Never heard of him before. He made me feel uncomfortable. So I wagged my finger and said, I don't want to hang out with you anymore, mister. And then we never did. Meanwhile, obviously, copious amounts of emails after 2008, by the way, well after 2008. These were in 2013 and 2014, showing that they were routinely hanging out at private gatherings. And of course, these are only the emails, right? I
suppose it is a bit embarrassing if you're married, but both Bill Gates and Musk, I mean, Musk basically has that, that pregnancy farm in Mad Max Fury Road. That's weird. Basically him. He's pretty much a Morton Joe.
He takes the breeding kink to a whole new level.
What's a breeding king?
Kink.
Oh, breeding kink. Yeah. Oh, yeah, he does. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's fucking weird.
But it is weird. But the thing is, okay, let's assume that you don't have a long-term partner. There's nothing really embarrassing about it. If I was a celebrity, I would have come out and said, oh, breeding's very cool, Jackson. You're just not virile enough to get it.
Yeah, I don't get it. Weak sperm count. Just an empty puddle.
One sperm per puddle, yeah. Small fish, big pond.
Oh.
But don't you think that...
Yeah, continue.
Don't you think that if you were one of these mega celebrities, wouldn't you come out and get ahead of the curb and say, yeah, no, I went to heaps of these fuck parties. I never went to the really kinky fuck parties, but I went to the pretty damn kinky fuck parties. Whatever. I think that that's kind of socially acceptable and also completely takes you out of this predicament that you're in now.
I think, I mean, if you just owned it, obviously now it looks shady as fuck because you look like you're lying about it, of course, but it's still not a good look to be a routine visitor of Jeffrey Epstein's island where he trafficked in young girls and hosted sex orgies with them and such. It's still not a good look.
No, it's not a good look, but it's one of those... All right, Jerry Springer did this masterfully. When he was running for mayor, they got dirt on him that he hired a prostitute when he was married. And he came out while he was running for mayor of Cincinnati and made that his ad. He made it his ad. His ad was, yeah, I had sex with a prostitute and I was married at the time. I'm not proud of it. Vote for me. And he won by a mile. Like, Bill Gates and Elon Musk don't need to worry about their upstanding. The guy that got caught in the Coldplay concert with an affair, that guy's life is screwed. But if you're that level of the food chain of billionaire, really all you're worried about is public image. And I don't know, that just kind of sounds baller to me, just being like, yeah, dude, I was at a bunch of sex parties. Perfectly legal sex parties.
Yes, of course, if it was a legal sex party. But we don't know that it was a legal sex party.
So you reckon that they're doing illegal sex parties, these two? It sounds like they're kind of just like horny nerds.
Well, no, I mean, I don't know specifically whether Bill Gates and Elon Musk were involved with children, but I mean, we have clear-cut evidence that Epstein was involved in, using said children to gather incriminating blackmail material on wealthy individuals. So it's not a crazy implication, especially like these guys are married and are going to, at a base level, going to sex parties or whatever. Sure, but they're clearly not in good moral standing then. And I don't think it's outrageous to believe that they would have partaken in the sordid deeds of Jeffrey Epstein.
Sordid.
Yeah, like I don't.
Very nice language.
Well,
I like that.
But regardless, I don't see, especially since they've been so coy and they've been lying about it nonstop. Yeah, I don't. And maybe they didn't know. Maybe they didn't know. Maybe it was like a 17-year-old that looked like a 19-year-old or whatever, and they were like, it's fair game. And then Epstein recorded it.
Oh no.
I'm saying we don't know enough information.
I feel sorry for any guy that gets caught in that trap, and there's going to be like hundreds of them. Fucking hundreds of them, isn't it? That's going to be the main one. Because that's like, I think that is like a Mossad classic, is doing that.
What, honeypots or whatever the fuck they're called?
Honeypots or whatever it is. So you're right though. Like we really don't know what their sexual penchants are. It's really, well, we definitely know Elon Musk's. Bill Gates, on the other hand, I honestly wouldn't have been surprised if he can't get an erection.
I mean,
I would be surprised if he doesn't have testicles. I would be.
Did you miss the part where he had STDs from a Russian prostitute?
No, I'm talking about before this, Jackson. Now I'm well aware that he sounds to have a raging dick that
he won't
needs
stop
to be satisfied.
Well, Jeffrey Epstein did mention that he had specific details about Bill Gates' penis. Remember, he distinctly said that, I know the details of your penis. So there might be footage
what a fucking
videos.
Scary thing to hear. Imagine getting a phone call from Jeffrey Epstein being like, I remember your dick.
I've 3D printed it. I took 3D scans while you were asleep. It's like the
Can't mistake that.
Like the mask in Mission Impossible. You can put it over your own penis, so now that it looks like you've got Bill Gates' penis. I can cosplay as the richest man in the world.
Oh, man.
Or at least his penis.
Oh, you could tell that'd sell in a sex shop, wouldn't you? Experience what it's like to be Bill Gates fucking.
Yay.
Yeah, it's turning you on, isn't it, Jackson? Yeah. It's turning me on too. Everybody at home right now is aroused. I bet you didn't think that at the beginning of this video, did you?
All right, we have even more information here from Jeffrey Epstein regarding Elon Musk. This email comes from Elon Musk. He writes, actually, I could fly back early on the 3rd. We will be in St. Bart's. When should we head to your island on the 2nd? Epstein replies, bad news. Unfortunately, my schedule will keep me in New York. I was really looking forward to finally spending some time together with just fun as the agenda. So I'm very disappointed. Hopefully we can schedule another time in the near future. So they were good. I mean, they're clearly pretty friendly. Like, he claims that, I didn't have anything to do with him. Here we go. Here's Elon Musk's claims right here. He says, no one pushed harder than me to have the Epstein files released, and I'm glad that it's finally happened. I had very little correspondence with Epstein and declined repeated invitations to go to his island or fly on his Lolita Express, but was well aware that some email correspondence with him could be misinterpreted. That's right, you're wrong for the interpretation of this black and white email, and used by detractors to smear my name. I don't care about that, but what I do care about is that we at least attempt to prosecute those who committed serious crimes with Epstein, especially regarding heinous exploitation of underage girls. Well, if this is true, if this right here is true, that he was well aware that some email correspondence with him could be misinterpreted and used by detractors to smear his name, why didn't he preemptively come out and say as such? Why didn't he come out and say, hey, you're going to see emails of me repeatedly talking about travel plans to the island and stuff. But, I want you Dogecoin aficionados out there to remember, I'm your boy. I never did go, so on and so on. I'm a meme lord, guys, not a child predator lord. All right, I'm only good at memes.
Child predator lord.
So, why wouldn't he have got ahead in that sense?
I don't know, and honestly, that's a tip for the future, guys. If you're ever going to go to sex parties and it comes out in such a thing, it's a very specific set of circumstances. I don't know if we need to give advice about this. It sounds very Grandpa Simpson reading advice, being like, if you ever travel back in time, it's just never going to happen.
If you ever go to a sex party, make sure that you publicly say so before you leave. Put it on your Twitter and say, just get ahead of it. Say that there's no illegal actions there, no children there, nothing like that. Just get ahead of it before you even go. It's the only way to stay safe. Or just don't go to fucking multi-billionaire sex parties.
Yeah. Or if you're going to go there, just stretch your anus out, take a photo of it, and put it up on X. I'm pretty sure it'll be able to stay up there because Musk has just made everything legal there. One of them.
Yeah.
Do one of those things. I suggest the anus one. Jackson thinks don't go because he's a prude.
I am a prude, clearly. There's no middle ground between those two options.
Yeah, either don't go or spread your anus while you're there. As proof. Just like, I'm sure it's like fingerprints. That'll all be different.
We're both trying to help you here. Both of our suggestions come from an earnest
Me especially.
So there's also another email where Epstein directly says this. Epstein writes, any plans for New York? The opening of the General Assembly has many interesting people coming to the house. Elon Musk replies, I run and lead product design / engineering for 2 complicated companies. Moreover, SpaceX is about to launch what is arguably the most advanced rocket in history. Flying to NY to see UN diplomats do nothing would be an unwise use of my time. Schooled by Elon Musk, Jeffrey Epstein hits him back with a, do you think I am retarded? Just kidding. There is no one over 25 and all very cute.
He's always got to bring that up, doesn't he?
Yeah, I've got children here. I mean, I know people under 25 aren't children. I mean, there's a lot of children under the age of 25, but the implication being, of course, that Epstein's like, you should want to come. You should want to come, Musk. There's going to be a lot of young, attractive women here.
Yeah.
Just fucking funny. Regardless, clearly this language, Epstein and Musk were very. I mean, that's close friend talk right there. Like, I think they were close friends, if anything, not just loose associates.
It really is, yeah. All of that. Yeah, you're so right. That entire message. It's not loose associate stuff.
No, this is people that would routinely hang out. That's the kind of conversation vibes I'm getting from that. And also this sentence, I mean, this email from Epstein at the end, I was like, this is, and Elon Musk's I am very smart comment here about how he's running very important companies and he's too busy to see diplomats do nothing, et cetera, et cetera. I thought this was like so on the nose that there was no way that this was real. Someone clearly photoshopped this. No, I found it on the archives. This is a real message. Fucking crazy. Absolutely mental. So, there we go. Bill Gates. We've outed his lies, clearly associated well after the fact. Same with Elon Musk, clearly very, very connected to Epstein. Well after the 2008 sex offender trial. And now we come to the third person we'll be talking about in this, Howard Lutnick, who is the CEO of Cantor Fitzgerald and also currently serves as Trump's commerce secretary. He's kind of like, I always see him in the background of like Trump conferences and stuff. Like he's kind of like a close associate of Trump who's always hanging around the periphery, one of those like ass kissers who's constantly like clapping his hands and smiling and nodding at Trump whenever he says something funny. That kind of person. You always see him in the background.
I'm just going to try and see if I can picture it. Yeah.
I always see him. I always see him in the background.
Look at that. Just shave your head. That's chat. Look at his gross little mullet at the back. Everybody go look at a picture of Howard Lutnick now and tell me. I mean, this guy doesn't need to go to trial. It's such a sex offender haircut.
So Lutnick closely associated with Trump, obviously. I mean, he's his commerce secretary, of course, so very close. But he's also very closely associated with Jeffrey Epstein in the sense that they lived next door to each other in Manhattan. And when people found out about this a while back, of course, Lutnick was very quick to come out and provide his personal accounts. In October 2025, he publicly called Epstein the greatest blackmailer ever. that's it sounds like an endorsement when you use the word greatest. But
Yeah, greatest. World's greatest.
Yeah, he was saying it in the sense that, the disapproving sense. That's how he framed it, and and basically claimed that he moved in as Epstein's neighbor in 2005. He said that Epstein's assistant invited him over for coffee, where he then described seeing a massage table in the middle of Epstein's room surrounded by candles. And he said Epstein made a lewd comment talking about something along the lines of the right kind of massage in front of Lutnick's wife. And he claimed then that he and his wife left immediately and decided in 6 or 8 steps to never interact with Epstein again. He stated, quote, "I was never in the room with him socially, for business, or even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross." So Lutnick obviously framed this as, I had one meeting with him because he was my next door neighbor. I went over and, I took over a pot roast and said, "G'day, I'm your new neighbor. Nice to meet you." He said, "Hey, give me a rub and tug." And then Lutnick left and was like, "I don't want to see that man ever again." He scares me.
Why is he just... You can't look like him and then make this real moral grandstanding argument of, I was outraged by this lewd comment. That was enough, let alone the massage table to never see him again.
Of course. But the framing that he's like, I met him once because I'm a neighbor, and then I chose never to meet him again because he grossed me out. He gave me the ick. Well,
yeah, it's so bullshit. Just, you can't.
Evidence.
You can't say it.
Evidence exists here, of course, that shows the opposite being true. Remember, he claimed that he moved in as Epstein's neighbor in 2005. So the claim that he would have gone over for coffee or whatever and then chose never to meet, never to be around Epstein again after an inappropriate comment, that would have had to have happened around 2005, I would assume. And certainly earlier than the 2008 sex offender situation with Epstein's original trial. So it would have had to have happened back then. These emails come from 2012. Howard Lutnick sends a message saying, "Hi, Jeff. We are landing in St. Thomas early Saturday afternoon and planning to head over to St. Bart's, Anguilla on Monday at some point. Where are you located? As in, what is the exact location for my captain? Does Sunday evening for dinner sound good?" And then here's a fucking creepy message in context. "I have another couple, Michael and Marcy Lerman, with me on my boat. And each of us has 4 children, 2 16s, 2 14s, a 13, an 11, and a 12, and a 7-year-old. Thanks, Howard." I'm
good on you, Howard.
I'm gonna it could be framed by Howard. If I was being charitable here, Howard would frame it as in like giving dinner attendance and specifying how many children.
Yeah.
But why did he have to age them?
The ages? The ages is a bit weird.
That is very
look,
weird.
I suppose it's sort of a... But again, he's not that type of person. But, you can imagine Midwesterners being like, I got a 7-year-old, 5-year-old, and a 13-year-old.
I don't know. It's fucking weird. But regardless, Jeffrey Epstein replies saying, "Come Saturday or Sunday lunch, Little St. James on the map behind Christmas Cove." And then replied saying... this is from his assistant saying, "I will let you know what he says." Regardless, this is 7 years after they've moved in, and I would assume several years after the inappropriate massage table comment. And yet here they are, corresponding in very friendly terms.
Casual terms. So silly.
And
also, you're not going to not remember being on a yacht around a bunch of Bahamas area islands having dinner with Jeffrey Epstein.
No, you can't.
Just so,
and again, it's not like this was an invitation from Epstein. Like, I cordially invite you to a dinner party to make our first acquaintances known and hopefully lead to a better relationship. No, they're talking semi-casually, which insinuates that this was not the first time that this has happened.
Yeah, I know.
Met in such conditions. Like, they're having a dinner party together. I don't have dinner parties with my neighbors. I've never fucking talked to my neighbors. I don't know who they are. Yeah, I've never talked to my fucking neighbors. These people are closely associated. And of course, we know for a fact that this went down, that this happened, that this dinner event happened, because here's another email from Matthew Lutnick, who is Howard's brother, I assume, or another family member. So he knows the whole family, apparently. Jeffrey Epstein says, it's from someone. Let me see. Yeah, it's probably from an assistant. He says, "Good morning, Howard," to Howard Lutnick. "Jeffrey wished for me to pass along the below to you. Nice seeing you. Please read number 2.3. No clue what that is, but regardless, this is proof that the dinner event happened or whatever, and it was nice seeing him." So they for sure met up. Howard Lutnick is a fucking bold-faced liar, clearly, who was, I think, fairly confident that this information would never come out. I wonder why. Which also, again, the Secretary of Commerce, Jordan, believed that this wouldn't come out, so he felt confident enough to lie to the American people that this never happened and that he only had one fringe encounter with Epstein where he said that he was a disgusting man and he never wanted to see him again. So he felt confident lying about that. Why, I ask you, would the US Secretary of Commerce feel confident lying about clear information never coming out? Because he's in the administration. He knows that the administration would not release this kind of information, which again leads me to think that this has come out contrary to the administration's wishes.
I also think, yes, but don't you think that it's quite an American trait I've noticed that, I don't know, they always seem to just portray a lot of confidence, and if they get proven wrong at a later date, they kind of just be confident about that. I don't know. It's a very Australian thing to constantly have low self-esteem and think like, I don't know, just maybe. There's a lot of that. But I've always noticed with Americans, like when Joe Biden was clearly on the fritz and he was, I'm going to be the president in the next term. I'm going to defeat Donald Trump. I will be here for 2024. And then the next day is gone, Like, and then it's just like, I decided to go out, and they have that. Whatever is happening now, they're just going to be very, very certain about it.
Yeah,
and
but
then when it changes, they're just very certain about that thing.
With that example, that specific example, though, I'm pretty sure Joe Biden 100% believed that he was going to be the president nominee in 2024. Like, he believed at that point that he would continue on, and then he was ousted from the party or whatever. The Democrats got their claws in him and said, no, you're going to the aged care home where you belong. So... Like, he believed it when he was saying that. I fully believe that. That's kind of my
but don't you think that, but like in Australia, because we have leadership challenges all the time. It's very unique to America what happened with Biden. But here, anytime there's a leadership challenge, they'll ask them endlessly. The same thing with Biden. What's going on with the leadership and all this? And their response every time is something along the lines of, oh, well, I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on the Australian public, and I'm focused on getting the job done. And they won't make unequivocal statements.
Yeah, because they don't want to be wrong.
They don't want to be wrong. Like, it's a very wishy-washy thing in political culture in Australia to maybe, bore
Americans
people out of it. Americans are always really direct.
Well, Americans know that if they are wrong, they can massage the messaging and still be right.
So I don't know. Like, I think maybe... It sounds really slack to say this, but I think lying seems to be a lot more culturally acceptable in the United States. If you get caught out, obviously people give you shit for it, but it's also this thing of, no, just really stick it in there. Because I'm really not understanding what the benefit is to not what we've been talking about this whole time. Get ahead of it, say, yeah, I had dinner with Epstein with kids. And Epstein did not ask for them to get naked at that time, so I thought he was pretty on the level. I just don't understand it. Actually, it is one of these like strange cultural exchange things where I want Americans to tell me if there's something to my theory on this.
No,
because over and over again, we're just getting this absolutely not, wasn't there. It's silly.
Again, I think the most logical... I agree with you that there is a cultural difference here to some degree where it seems like lying in America is certainly more advantageous.
Advantageous, yeah, that's the right word.
Because you kind of... like you've kind of got bases that you already kind of are just... What's the word? I don't know the word. Propagandizing to, that it doesn't matter if you lie, you can just massage... Again, you can massage your image and your message with that base and bolster it that way. So lying is to some degree advantageous, and we see that constantly. Of course, there's politicians that lie over here as well, but it definitely feels more overt over in America, and
But yeah, like
seen as an
when
actual
they are
strategy.
lying, yes, exactly. When they're like, okay, you do have some particularly scummy politicians here that outright lie. John Barilaro is a good example. Barnaby Joyce, but they're sort of outliers. They're sort of that
It seems like an
they
institutional strategy over in America.
exactly.
Yeah, I do agree, but that's more politics. In this situation, I absolutely like I think that Elon Musk, Howard Lutnick, and to some degree Bill Gates believed that this information was never coming out, so they could lie. They felt comfortable lying in the way that they did. They didn't feel like the information would ever come out, potentially because they knew that other powerful people were implicated. It's a a small party and you're not in it kind of situation. Like all of these powerful people know each other and they know that like it's mutually assured destruction. That it's not going to come out because everything else will crumble as well. So they felt confident. Or in Howard Lutnick's case, he's literally in the fucking administration. He knows the conversations that are happening. He's seen the kind of information that Trump has, or he knows what Trump's able to do, and so on. And I believe that he felt confident lying to such, like, if you watch the interview, Jordan, with Howard Lutnick, where he goes over that story, it's full of details. It's very specific. It's very passionate. It's not just like a once-off comment where he's like, oh yeah, I didn't, he made me inappropriate, so I didn't want to hang out with him anymore. I've never been around him, whatever. It was a full-on story about, a very passionate story about how he was not involved with Epstein, like lying through his teeth the entire time. And now that's come out. Like, you don't do that unless you're confident that you're in a situation where the lie's never going to come out, I think. Which is, again, I think this is more evidence potentially that this information wasn't released potentially by the administration, or at least they didn't want it to release. I mean, I'm kind of leaning more towards now that whole Iran theory with Israel, honestly.
Yeah, no, honestly, the Israel theory is quite solid.
It's pretty compelling.
It's quite compelling.
Especially since we've seen the messaging out of Israel lately. Like, they pretty clearly want Iran dealt with. Like, they see Iran as an existential threat to the Israeli way of life in, their sphere of influence. Of course, I mean, Iran has sponsored state terrorists against Israel. So, of course, they see it that way. And clearly, we've also seen that Trump has some trepidations, or he doesn't necessarily, he's dragging his feet on a collaborative strike against Iran. So maybe Israel's like, well, you're not going to do our bidding. Well, here's, step one of why you're going to do our bidding. We're going to release a little bit of information, or we're going to force it through and put, fire under your feet to get you moving towards what we want. I could see it.
So could I. I mean, if it's true, Jeffrey Epstein is the asset that keeps on giving, isn't he? What a bounty for Israel he is being.
I mean,
we're
like,
in depth.
It seems like we're in the end game of their strategy, though, right? Like, if they burn this information, I don't think this is all the information. They wouldn't have just burnt it on this. Like, they're still holding aces up their sleeves if this theory is correct. Like, there's more.
I'm honestly, like, these files, every single time there is one of these release drops, they get more and more shocking, don't they? I think the other reason...
I'm annoyed at that, though. I'm really fucking annoyed at that this has turned into... It's almost like a fucking... We're on a Netflix delayed release right now, where like every 3 weeks or 4 weeks something drops and you all tune in and then you're like, oh man, I can't wait for next month. Yeah, but that's just because
you're annoyed by Netflix drops, though.
No, I'm annoyed by the fact that real justice isn't being dealt out here. It seems like this is just a political game at this point.
Oh, it'll come. There's way too much public interest for this. This is really weird. I've never thought of a case undoing a presidency.
I don't think it can. I don't think we don't currently live in a society or a geopolitical system where true change is even possible. Like, you think of all of the drama and stuff that has happened in the last year, puts to shame Bill Clinton getting a blowjob by Monica Lewinsky. It puts to shame the Watergate situation. It puts to shame so many different political scandals throughout time. Like, all of those pale in comparison. We're talking about officials in the White House being directly involved in a worldwide sex trafficking network / blackmail network, potentially orchestrated by America's closest ally, and nothing has changed. And nothing is happening. I don't know, man. Something's changed in the last.
No. I'm telling you, like, I know this actually from personal experience with John. Nothing changes, and then something does.
Damn,
it's
that's
quite
deep. Put that on a postcard.
I'm pretty optimistic about disclosures, I've got to say.
I don't know. I'm not at this point. I'm not optimistic. I hope something happens, clearly. Like, I very clearly hope something happens. And it's not even just that I want Trump in jail. Trump triggers me. It's not that. This is way more wide reaching than just Trump. Like, there needs to be pretty fucking clear systemic changes here, because so many people are involved in this. And it's demonstrably evil. But we come to more information. So yes, Lutnick clearly had he said that he had limited interactions with Mr. Epstein in the presence of his wife and has never been accused of wrongdoing. Well, I count lying to the American public as wrongdoing, Mr. Lutnick.
And I suppose he's right in that he wasn't accused before that of it. I'm sure in his... Again, that guy is too slimy to not be accused of wrongdoing in the past.
There was more information revealed, and we've been saving this for last because it's the most unverifiable, in the sense that this information comes from the FBI's National Threat Operations Center, the NTOC, and these are basically anonymous tips that have been substantiated to some degree by the FBI or further investigated by the FBI. But verification is obviously difficult because anyone can submit a tip, so it's not exactly the most compelling in terms of evidence. It's not like it's witnesses' claims, basically. So it's up to you. This information would be used in other kind of to back up other claims or other evidence that is found, basically. But you can't take all of this at face value, is what I'm saying. But regardless, these tips came through, and we're going to read them right here. This one, complaint summary, says, victim name censored, reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral sex on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 years old when this occurred, and the friend allegedly bit President Trump while performing oral sex. The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. The friend said she was also abused by Epstein.
No.
We have another one here. So these are multiple victims. The multiple victims that have made tips, who have talked to FBI. At age 16, while modeling, caller attended 8 parties at Epstein's New York residence. On one occasion, callers reported she was sexually assaulted by Epstein. On another occasion, 2 twin brothers, Alan and Orrin, lured caller and her friend upstairs, but they escaped back downstairs. Caller stated Orrin raped her best friend, and a third brother, Tal, raped a 14-year-old girl named Censored. Caller named other individuals involved in big orgy parties with her, other young girls, and older Victoria's Secret models, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. Online complainant reported she was a victim and witness to a sex trafficking ring at the Trump golf course in Rancho Palos Verdes, California, between 1995 and 1996. Complainant reported Ghislaine Maxwell as the madam and broker for the sex parties, clients of whom included Epstein, Robin Leach, and Donald Trump. So we have several, they're not verified, of course, but there are detailed claims here by people, by women who claim that while they were young girls, they were victimized by Epstein and his circle of powerful friends. And yes, these are unverified. Verification is difficult at this point, and you can't blame them at the same time, because they're talking. If they're honest claims, then of course they're not going to fucking come out with their names and verify this information. We're talking about the most powerful people alive currently who can demand, like a drone strike on your house if you come out against them, potentially. Like, this is a very terrifying situation for anyone involved in this. This is the kind of stuff where assassinations do happen to keep people quiet. So.
Oh, totally. Yeah. No. It is scary shit. It's scary shit. Scary shit.
But
so eyes wide shutty.
You take it at face value, of course, but the details they're detailed, right? These claims are detailed. The DOJ's position has said, quote, this production may include fake or falsely submitted images, documents, or videos, as everything that was sent to the FBI by the public was included in the production that is responsive to the act. Some of the documents contain untrue and sensationalist claims against President Donald Trump that were submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election. To be clear, the claims are unfounded and false. That's what they claim. And if they have a shred of credibility, they certainly would have been weaponized against President Trump already. End quote. Not true. Of course, not true. Again, if everyone is implicated across multiple administrations,
yeah, why would you weaponize it?
Then you're not weaponizing.
Then again, Trump did weaponize it.
Well, no, again.
But I suppose no one has the balls that Trump has, so yeah.
Also, like we've just been talking about, President Trump may not have weaponized this information. It seems like, again, if the Israel theory is correct, then President Trump didn't weaponize it.
No. I'm talking about all throughout the 2016 election, 2020 election, 2024 election. You'd always be saying, no, Prince Andrew got some big problems. Bill Clinton, I think, also has some big problems. Which actually, now, to be fair, don't think that Bill Clinton has any big problems. He was actually one of the first ones to come out and say, when all of this dropped, and said, can you stop using my name? Like, just release it or don't. Like, come on. Just release my name every time. See, that's the move that you need.
You might be on old information. He said that, but then I think he got subpoenaed. Him and Hillary Clinton got subpoenaed by some court in America to come provide testimony and information about the claims, and they declined. They were like, nope, we're not touching this. We're not.
Damn.
You can't
really?
Yeah. So I think, again, like you were saying before, with the ability for prominent American politicians and people in power to just outwardly confidently lie about things, I think that was them doing that and then being called on their bluff. Or yeah.
See, basically. I'm telling you, there is something kind of a bit of a culture shock about it. It honestly sort of reminds me of just like politics in like Thailand or the Philippines or something, you know?
Fucking crazy.
Isn't it?
So, of course, the claim of no credible evidence of blackmail, to sum everything up that we've gone over, no credible evidence of blackmail, that claim made by the FBI, directly contradicted by the Gates email. There's a pattern of post-conviction relationships that have existed with prominent wealthy people beyond 2008 who have previously claimed that they had nothing to do with Epstein, including Musk, Gates, and, of course, Howard Lutnick. Just some of them. Again, these are just some of the people involved here. Every day, like every hour, I'm on like Twitter or X, or I'm seeing pictures come through of other people who have previously said they had. I have nothing to do with that evil man, and then it's shown that they've pretty much
had something to do with
island.
that evil man.
Yeah. So constantly, of course, we've also shown that there's been documented false statements by Elon Musk and Howard Lutnick. And of course, that Epstein used blackmail against Bill Gates. And I think the insinuation there is if he's confident enough to blackmail Bill fucking Gates, he's confident enough to blackmail anyone. So I think
it's so confident.
I think that blackmail is
confident.
Very used by Epstein. And I think you can't argue against that. But yeah, this is what Loose Threads is. This is why we do Loose Threads, hit breaking news as it comes out. I'm sure there's going to be more information coming out very quickly, more connections made. So think of this as just a preamble for what is going to be many, many, many Loose Threads. And if they're important enough, we will, of course, put them up on public platforms. But if you want to, But
sometimes they're not important and sometimes we just want money. And in that case, you're going to have to pay.
Yeah, if you want more stuff like that, as well as early access to other Red Thread episodes, hey, official.men, 7-day free trial. Go check it out. But that's going to do it for everything here in this episode of Loose Threads. I think we've covered everything pretty well.
I think you have. Well done, Jackson. Very short notice.
Very short notice.
And you succeeded as much.
Yeah, a lot of interesting fucking stuff.
You're the real hero.
I am. I've solved the issue. I have ended wealthy elite pedophilia once and for all. Everyone is now safe. I wish.
Oh, Jackson. You've got strong ambitions in life, aren't you?
Yeah.
Jackson, pedo hunter extraordinaire. How does he do it? Looks at Twitter a lot.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time more information comes out. Bye.